Another messy night and morning in the Big Brother 26 house. Of course, the messiest player is the player that I deemed yesterday officially the worst player of the season in Quinn, who just cannot shut up. But before we get to all that, I do want to talk about Quinn and Brooklyn getting some pissiness online for some of the things they've been doing and saying. And as much as I don't like Brooklyn, she's not as bad as people are trying to make her out to be. Like, she is really obnoxious, and she has this holier-than-thou attitude, and she thought she was running the game even though she started the game as a coaster. But, the shit-talking of Quinn and Brooklyn about Angela being a have-not on her birthday. Angela's talked a lot of shit in this game, too. Now, they didn't say this to Angela, which I wish they would have, because I think it would have been a fight. I want to see a fight between Brooklyn and Angela, I really do. But, yeah, Brooklyn slamming a door in Leah's face when she was mad after the vote. I don't know. These things, to me, they're given classic reality television drama. We've seen for so long on this show some really nasty things being done and said about people. This isn't even scratching the surface of that. This is just a bunch of haters being haters, and I condone it. So, Quinn and Brooklyn getting shit for the whole Angela birthday have-not comment is ridiculous. I didn't see this, but I read that Brooklyn said this comment about Joseph, that she gets sad sometimes, but she thinks about how ugly Joseph is, and it makes her mad. I don't know. I mean, that cracks me up too. I'm sorry. Listen, Joseph has an ugly Hulk Hogan mustache. I don't know what to say. These things are just petty to me. The pettiness is fine by me. But their gameplay, mostly Quinn's gameplay, absolutely sucks still. Quinn, like, I get it. He doesn't really trust this, let's work with Tucker for now. I said that I always want two rivals to, like, try and team up and work together. But the paranoia and the dislike for each other, it's hard to pull off. You have to really be an even-keeled individual to do it. And Quinn's just not there. So he knew that Brooklyn was the target this week and that he was just supposed to be a pawn, along with Cam is just supposed to be a pawn. But the whole Tucker plan was that he was going to tell others that Quinn's the target and that Brooklyn and Cam are the pawns. But Quinn's big mouth that he can't shut up from told Brooklyn that Tucker said that Quinn was the pawn and that Brooklyn is likely the target. And now Brooklyn's going around telling this to MJ. Chelsea's finding out about it. Brooklyn confronts Tucker about it. So now Tucker's going to know that Quinn already read out the plan. So is this just going to put the big target on Quinn again? It's very possible. Quinn is too massive a player. He just does not shut up. He's really bad at everything he's done this season. He had the biggest power ever and completely blew it by talking about it. He just shits from his mouth constantly. So I would not be surprised if Quinn becomes the big target again this week if he doesn't win the veto today. It is Tucker, the nominees, Cam, Brooklyn, and Quinn, along with MJ and somehow Joseph again in the veto. Another thing that happened today with Quinn, him and Joseph were just having this conversation on feeds where Joseph's really going out of his way to save Quinn, which I think is good for Joseph's game. I think Joseph does need Quinn around in this game. Joseph sees a lot of people in front of him as targets, and I think Quinn is one of those people he sees as targets, but also I think Joseph just needs Quinn around for a number in the future. I said this last night in my video. Joseph, Quinn, T-Core, in my opinion, really need each other in this game for the foreseeable future because of all the interconnections going on. I think they are all good for each other's games. Quinn is very upset with T-Core and Chemo for this flip. And I think Quinn has a right to be upset with them to an extent, especially with Chemo. I mean, Chemo has gone around telling Quinn's information to Tucker. Quinn's biggest rival this entire time, when Quinn was actively trying to work with Chemo and T-Core and give them a bunch of information. But it's Quinn's big mouth, once again, that got him in this trouble, because he just told them way too early about the collective and the Pentagon. Well, about the Pentagon, because they were in the collective. But if he didn't want them to use this information, you don't tell them that soon then. Because Quinn's acting like he just wanted to be the puppet master, but he had no real agency to be the puppet master. And they took the information and did what they had to do with it. And they did go to Quinn before the flip talking about how they should do this, but Quinn didn't have a vote and he was against it anyway. He thought it was too early. But it was once again Quinn not listening. It was Quinn trying to be the puppet master that he's not. So, I don't know. Watching Quinn and Joseph talk, I like that they are these game bot wannabes or whatever. I think Joseph has a much better social game than Quinn overall. But I don't know. They got on my nerves eventually. Like, I like that Joseph understands that Brooklyn and Chelsea are being hypocrites and that he doesn't care that Brooklyn's all mad at him. But they were then going on about the whole rats in the game, snakes in the game, doves in the game, frogs in the game. And I think this is where Quinn was the one really going on about this. Gets things so wrong. He wants everyone to be this game type that he sees the board as, when all these people are actual individuals that have, different qualities that aren't just one archetype. He wants to put everyone in this box, and that's why his social game suffers, because he doesn't actually talk to people as humans. He didn't actually get emotional with Chemo and T-Core when they're clearly emotional players. They needed more from Quinn than just this game bot energy that he tries to give off. I don't know. That conversation is when I turned off the feeds just now to record this video because I couldn't listen to it anymore. Quinn feeling sorry for himself. You got yourself in this predicament. He has some reason to be mad at Chemo and T-Core, but they didn't put him in this predicament. His bad gameplay put him in this predicament. And again, just last night, saying too much to Brooklyn when he just needed to shut up for a day and see how the veto turned out at least, but he couldn't even do that. Anyway, elsewhere, we have Leah trying to tell MJ this morning about the collective. Finally, MJ's getting caught up on weeks of gameplay that she's been behind on, and yet she just keeps running back to Brooklyn and Chelsea. She just will continue to want to work with the minority right now, even though she flipped on these same people to get out Cedric this past week. But I guess MJ doesn't understand the board. I just don't understand MJ's game. I want her gone this week, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. She still could be the renom for Tucker if somebody comes off the block, but it could also be Chelsea. So, especially if Brooklyn comes down, I think Chelsea will be the renom and possibly the main target, even though T-Core won't like that. So that will be an interesting scenario. I think MJ going is just good for the game overall. It gets some more dead weight out of the house. And I don't know. I just don't think MJ's bringing nothing to the table. She certainly doesn't have a brain. People getting upset with Chelsea and MJ's conversation last night. But I think Chelsea also sees that MJ doesn't have a brain, and Chelsea likes to use people that don't have a brain. But Chelsea's brain's kind of going through some brain rot as well. She went from, as the person with the best reads in the first few weeks, by far, one of the only people aside from T-Core that had good reads the first 3 weeks. And right now, I don't know if her reads are reading. And I think being so connected to Brooklyn has definitely hurt her game and her reads on the house. People still upset online that T-Core wants to still have a relationship with Chelsea. I still don't understand why people are upset with that. I guess either people see this game too emotionally as viewers, or they are the opposite and they think everyone should be a game bot. Yeah, Chelsea was using T-Core as a number, but in that first 2 weeks, they did actually have good game conversations at times. And I think I said that in the videos back then, that I think these two need to continue to have those type of conversations because it would be good for their game. And look what happens when Chelsea stopped having those game conversations. I think that relationship is good for both of their games. And I think it is a good thing that T-Core is still trying to work on that. I had some comments about that people aren't really targeting Tucker right now. They'd rather target Chemo, T-Core, Joseph, because Brooklyn, Chelsea are upset with them. MJ's like really trying to throw Chemo and T-Core under the bus hardcore right now. And I get it. They still have emotions from this flip. And Tucker's only been HOH for a day and a half. So, and he still has power. He still can make a rain on him. So I understand why they're not doing this big hurrah against Tucker right now. Also, I don't really think that Chemo and T-Core are Chelsea's targets right now. I do think she would maybe target Leah and Joseph over Tucker. But her conversation with MJ last night, I think, was her just trying to placate to MJ because MJ is so gung-ho about Chemo and T-Core right now. And I think Chelsea just wants to continue to use MJ like she's been doing this entire time because MJ's kind of been up Chelsea's ass ever since Chelsea was HOH. And where Tucker did go good with Leah, though, is he threw Chelsea under the bus to Leah yesterday, where he told her that Chelsea's just always talking shit about her, and he just goes along with it, even though Tucker also can't stand Leah. So, but that was good play by Tucker. He was able to turn Leah against Chelsea right now. I think Leah does feel some kind of way about Chelsea. Leah does get on my nerves, though. Going on yesterday about how Chelsea, Brooklyn, Cam are bullies was making me roll my eyes. There has not been any bullying in this game yet. I'm sorry. There hasn't. And I hate when people cry bully when there's not bullying going on. Just like the fandom wants to baby Quinn, that people have been bullying him at times, then they haven't. Lee is one of those people that they think has bullied Quinn, which is ironic. But especially Leah calling Cam a bully. Like, come on. Cam's a non-entity. He's the calmest person in that house. Too calm right now. He's so calm he's not really playing the game anymore. He's like Leah, MJ, and Rubina, where he's kind of just there. So that was ridiculous and annoying. I think that's really all I have to talk about today. I still was, I defended T-Core hardcore last night, and I stand by it. I don't like her feeling sorry for herself, though, about making the move. It's too much. Like, you made the move, but you still got to be an active player after the move. So feeling sorry for yourself doesn't really help your game, but she's a very emotional Scorpio. So I get it. As a fellow water sign, I suppose I need her to get it together there. Anything else? Two things I forgot to mention is the whole Showmance thing with Rubina, Tucker, getting dangerous. They are still getting closer, and I kind of hope that is a detriment to both their games, because so far this cast has wanted to, put possible showmances on notice. I think a lot of it has been jealousy, but yeah, whatever. Another thing that will keep the Tucker and Angela, Chemo, Rubina, T-Core alliance on their toes is Angela, who was crying last night, of course. It is her first night on Have Nots, and she was feeling some type of way about Chemo and T-Core not talking to her enough. She begged to be in this alliance, even if she was at the bottom. Well, this is what she's getting. T-Core did talk to her this morning, so maybe that will help. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that alliance when Angela's a thing in it. Because, her paranoia, her spirals are always entertaining, if not a detriment to everyone she's ever aligned with. I did say in the comments yesterday, some people were commenting about who's in the best position. Is Tucker in the best position? And right now, it seems that way. I think a lot helps that he's HOH, though. We'll see how people are feeling about Tucker by the end of this week. Because, people are saying they want to target people like Chemo, T-Core, Joseph, even Leah over Tucker right now. But, Tucker has to show some cards this week. He's telling all these people they're pawns when they're not. So either he has to throw his allies under the bus, if he has to nominate Chelsea, or Quinn might have made his game easier though, because if Quinn doesn't win veto today, and Tucker's upset with Quinn for talking too much, and word gets to Chemo that Quinn's saying that Chemo might be one of his nominees. He told us to Brooklyn, and so far Brooklyn this morning has used all of Quinn's words against him, kind of throwing Quinn under the bus to Tucker this morning. So if Quinn continues to make all these mistakes and makes himself the main target, it can look like Tucker was actually being honest this entire week where he said Quinn was the target. Because that is where Chelsea, Brooklyn, MJ are messing up right now. They think Tucker's 100% not lying. He's not a liar whatsoever. And he is lying to them. So that's what Tucker has going for him right now, is that he seems like he's been so honest that he's just keeping it real right now when he's not to them. So either he has to show some cards and he will get blood on his hands this week because he is HOH and he is lying to people. But Quinn might stupidly make Tucker's job easier this week. So we'll see what happens with the veto, because that's going to tell us a lot about what's going to transpire the rest of this week. Will Quinn's messiness finally get him voted out of the house? We'll find out.